I want to thank you, Councilmember Robert White, the mayor's office, the advocates, the many organizations. I think about 8 or 9 organizations, Department of Human Resources, and the tenants who we work hard for every day in adding value to this conversation. This housing landscape in DC has become increasingly complex as residents continue to be priced out of our city. Many who have called DC home for many generations, more particularly Black and Brown people. I believe that it's important to balance the interests of the landlords and the residents with the pressing need for housing. The mayor has voiced significant concerns regarding the potential economic repercussions on our housing sector and overall economy if the rent and non-payment increases. While many, including the mayor, argue that the COVID-19 era administrative flexibilities are no longer necessary, we must remember that residents who are in poor and working class communities has been in a pandemic beyond the COVID-19 pandemic and continue to do so. I appreciate the 6 criteria for the tenant to have documentation that speaks to the nature of their emergency. I do want to add that it is disheartening for us still not to have an adequate solution to addressing the ongoing crisis of people being forced out of their homes. And I believe that this bill is one of many parts to creating a solution where people don't get kicked out. We see the number of notices in the court, and I believe at one point it was uh, the number has tripled over the years. I don't know what the exact number is, but I looked at it, and the number of court cases have tripled. And I think that the residents are disappointed that we have not found a solution. I got several calls this morning, read some text messages of those who was anticipating and applying last night, 12:01, only to find out that the portal was not open. And we know those many complaints that when the portal did open for several months, that the system crashed over and over again, was left residents in despair, confusion, and sad on figure how they were going to house their kids. We've taken a number of measures to address this. I think our focus should be on limiting evictions and supporting residents in their needs rather than rushing to displacement. We had the situation where we had over 500 families at the location, at the hospital location over there in uh, by the jail. We don't want to see that happen again and placing families in hotels all throughout the city. We know that's not an adequate solution to addressing the housing crisis in the district. And so I do look to support this amendment. I have a lot of questions, which I'll ask later, but we need adequate solutions to address the immediate needs of residents and reinforce the stability and affordability of our housing market. We know the interest rates are high, the inflation rates are high, and the price of living is not going up with the earned income going up in our city. Every time I read a report in a publication on the media, I see DC as one of the highest places to live in the country. And so we have to match that with resources supports, not as a handout, but a hand up as support to those residents who are struggling to stay here in the place we call home in the District of Columbia. 30 more seconds, Chairman, if you may.
Without objection.
Thank you. This legislation is an effective way of adding value to how we address the issues in court and getting people the supports they need. And we should be doing more to involve the landlord and the tenants at the table that we serve. We have a number of people in limbo. I don't know how this legislation addresses those who've been waiting since January. That's and I asked this question before. Does legislation change for those who already applied versus those who will be applying that will be new? We expect accountability on all sides. Just hope that this help us get to a landing space. We can help residents not be displaced because if not, we'll be forced to house these families all over again somewhere in the District of Columbia. So I want to thank those who introduced this and even for the various amendments. Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I did want to know, based on this legislation, when would the portal be back open to address the needs of those who have applied before and those who will be applying now?
The mayor indicated yesterday that she was waiting for this legislation before the portal reopens, and I think there even then will probably be a few days delay to make sure that everything is correct for the applications. Councilmember Robert White, do you want to add to that?
No, Chairman, we have not gotten a date for it to reopen, but I hope it will be ASAP.
Yeah, we
I
expect
got
it'll be
another
this
question.
month.
Chairman, and also Chairman, has the department worked through the kinks so the system won't crash again? Because that's been an ongoing issue and frustration on people waiting up all night to apply and keep trying to get in the portal shuts down. Have they worked through that with the IT department or Octo?
I'm looking at Councilmember Robert White.
We're in contact with DHS every time the portal opens, and they are getting better each time. While I am critical of the fact that the portal keeps crashing, I also do recognize there are a lot of people applying. So it's not okay. We're pushing DHS. We've talked about this in some of the public hearings, and we are making sure that each time they do improve. So they're going in with new plans every time, and we're tracking it, but it is not perfect yet.
All right, Councilmember Parker is back.
I got another question, Chairman, if you may. Chairman?
Yes, Councilmember Trayon White.
Yes, and I know that at some point the payment's been broken up over months. Is that still going on where it's just the amount of money we have in the pot is broken up? And if so, what are we doing to get those who are already in the pipeline the funding they need that are in court now that may be facing evictions now? If someone knows the answer to that.
Councilmember Robert White, do you know?
I mean, people will have to the administration is going to continue to break up the funding. I mean, whether we give it all at once and it's gone for the year, or we break it up in quarters, both are very imperfect. So I've supported the administration's desire to break it up. But people, once the number of people that can be funded apply, the portal shuts down. So there shouldn't be people with applications waiting in the queue unless there is a delay in payment for a specific person. And we can, if you have constituents who have that issue, we can send you or your team the contact person at DHS who can assist them.
Got it.
Thank you, Councilmember. All right, so we are going to proceed to the vote on the bill. What's that? Did you want to be recognized? Well, then let me call the vote. All right, the Bill 25-968 has been amended, and that is what is before us now for a vote. All those in favor of the bill as amended, say aye. 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 Are there any no votes? Hearing none, the bill is approved unanimously.